Hello, guys. Welcome back. Uh, I've actually got a very fun video lined up for you. I've partnered with my friend over on Twitter. But the problem is, we realized when we were recording that I hadn't explained one particular concept. So I decided to push that video for next week. So be on the lookout for that. And for today's video, we're going to be discussing arrays. So there are a couple different ways of pronouncing the word array. Some people call it array, some people call it array. So pick whichever one you like, whichever one pleases your ears and your brain. All right, so in C++ and C and a couple other languages, you have this way of storing data in an orderly fashion in the form of this thing called array. So no, although it is not a data type, it is, however, a data storing kind of method. And I don't mean storing it in the hard disk or SSD or whatever. It is a way of, it is a data structure. Okay. And that's a word, that's a fairly large concept, data structure, because there are many, many data structures. Okay, array is just one. There are multiple ways of storing your data. But obviously, we're not going to be discussing all of them today. We're just going to discuss arrays. Okay? So, in C++, the syntax of an array is something like this. I've actually already gone ahead and created an example program for you. Okay? So what you have to do is you need to have a data type present, and then you need to give the data type a variable name as usual. But after that, you need to follow it up with two square brackets, and then you can put the size you want in the number. So this number, I have written 7. Okay, so that means that my array will contain 7 elements. So you can define the size of an array by putting in the number in the square brackets. All right? And when you've done that, you can equate it or initialize it to whichever variables, or not really variables, but whichever numbers you want. So I've just gone ahead and put the numbers from 1 to 7. Okay. Now the interesting thing is, you can use it with practically any data type that is available in C++. So this will work with integer, it will work with bool, it will work with float, it will work with string. So it's really your choice. Okay. And the second interesting thing is, if I was to remove this number from here and then just initialize the array without telling the compiler what's the size I want, what it's going to do is it's going to create an array based on the number of elements that you have entered. So I have here 7 elements. So my array will be of size 7. Okay. One more thing that you should know about arrays is the indexing. Okay. So what do I mean by indexing? It's the way the elements are arranged. So what really happens in an array is that it starts from 0. Normally, the way we count things is we start from 1. So if suppose I had 3 apples, I would say 1 apple, 2 apples, and 3 apples, right? But in arrays, you need to start the counting from 0. So in the same example where I have 3 apples, I would now start with 0, 1, and 2. So I would end up at 2, although because I've started at 0, the total size is 3. I hope you can see the mathematical formula underlying in that. Remember, take the 3 apples example, 0, 1, and 2. You just need to add 1 to the number of elements starting from 0, and then you'll get your array size. Now I have here a simple program. I've already shown you how to initialize arrays, and what I'm doing here with this simple cout statement is I'm trying to access, or I'm trying to print out to the console the element stored at the 6th position in the array. So how do we go about the 6th position? Let's run this program so you'll have a better idea. And it says 7. If that confuses you, let me just clear this. And if you're using Windows and you're running VS Code, you can type CLS to clear the terminal. Whereas if you're using Linux, you'll need to type clear. Okay, let's run it again. And it says 7. So how did it reach 7? We want to access the 6th element. So what do? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Our 6th element is 7, starting from, of course, 0. Okay, and you can perform all sorts of things with arrays. So taking a look at this, C++ provides a data structure of the array, which stores a fixed size sequential collection of elements of the same type. So yes, that is very true. The elements that fill up your array have to be of the same data type. An array is used to store a collection of data, like I said. And again, we've discussed this. You need to have square brackets, and you can put in the number. You can put in the exact size of the array that you want, or you can leave it out. We have learned how to declare arrays. This is how it's done. It's really simple. They're doing the same thing basically, but they're using the data type double. This is how you initialize them. We have also seen that. And this is what I was telling you about, where you don't have to really put in the size. It will just take the size of based on the number of elements that you've entered. Now, don't get confused. Declaring an array uses square brackets, whereas initializing it uses curly brackets. Okay? Do not get confused. In programming, we use all sorts of brackets that are available on a standard keyboard. So here's an example that they've given us. Let's take a look at the example. I'll walk you through it. So this program makes use of setW function to format the output. Okay, so they're using this function called setW, and that's just to fix the formatting. So don't really worry about that. All right. So in the main function, they have an integer array called n of size 10. They've explicitly mentioned that they want an array of size 10. Now, they have used for loop. They've used the for loop to initialize the elements of the array n to 0. You can do that as well. As you can see from this example, you can either do it like this, or you can do it like this. So what they're doing is set the element and location I to I plus 100. So the size of I will be I plus 100. So if I equals 100, then it'll start filling out to be 101, 102, and so on. And then they said cout element setW13 value. This endl means it'll print to the next line. It means end line. So it is going to print the next, whatever you want to print next, it's going to be printed on the next line. And the output, each array element's value for int j, cout 7, setW7, j, setW13, n of j, endl. Again, you can omit the return line. And this is the output. If your element 0 is 100, then the following elements will just be increments of that, because that's what they're doing. They have a live demo option here, so let's click that. Let's see what happens. It's probably going to be an online compiler. Yes, it is an online compiler. So here's a program that they have. If I press the execute button, here we go. See? As simple as that. Now, although arrays is a really big topic and there are a couple of different websites. I have another one here which you could go through. They have some facts, advantages and disadvantages of arrays in C and C++. You may go about that as well. They have a couple of pictorial representations. So as you can see, so this is the array, and don't worry, it says array in C, but it's the same concept for C++ as well. So the name of that array is R, and they want to access the element at the 0th position. So like I told you, this is the array variable. This is the index of the element to be accessed, and this is the actual array. Like I said, the counting or the index of an array starts from 0. And if you take a look at the C++ program, fairly simple. They've declared an array of size 5, then they have put in the values 5 and minus 10 at position 0 and 2. You can also do this. Okay. And then they've done a bunch of things. Really simple things. You don't need to worry about, arrays. It's not a complicated concept. Okay. That's been it. Thank you for watching. Now, I must remind you, if you're going out, please wear a mask, okay? Thanks for watching the video. Hit the like button if you liked the video. Hit the subs button if you loved the video. And I know you loved it, so don't lie to me. Just hit the subs button. And I will see you next time. Have a good day, or a good night, or a good evening. Have a good something.